Welcome to the Network Build Grow podcast, the show where business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals share their stories, lessons learned, and powerful strategies for building relationships and growing their circle of influence. With Melissa Taylor, your host, each week we'll bring you actionable insights to help you build a better network and a better business. Let's dive in.
We are here this morning with Lu. How are you today?
Excellent. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. No, this is going to be a really good time. But before we get started, you're relatively new to Network Build Grow.
Yes.
So why don't you tell all of our listeners what Dream into Success does? What's all that all about?
Yes. So I, founded this business because it started with my own personal story, and it really helped me. I used personal development to change my personal life and professional life.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it all starts with a dream. And a lot of us stop at the dream. And because fear happens, we get stuck. There's different things that happen. And I felt like, sometimes we all just need a guide or somebody to help you through, get you to make it a success, because it doesn't have to stay a dream. That was originally why I named it Dream into Success.
Okay.
And it's really about now navigating, learning, especially confidence, imposter syndrome, self-doubts, people pleasing, which as business owners, but also in our different parts of our lives, right? We have to navigate, and how to navigate this in different life transitions and growing into that next version of you. So when we think success, a lot of the time it's who do you need to become in that next version of you, in that next chapter?
Yeah. Yeah. So dreaming into success, dreams are a funny, fascinating thing to me. But a lot of times in our dreams, things are actual dreams. Things happen that are not possible. And so I think when we have our awake dreams, the daydreaming and the, oh my gosh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Sometimes we let that, well, that's impossible kind of feeling sneak in. Yeah. And I love that you talk about that in that way, that, the dream is possible. It's just, you might have to become a little bit different than you are now to make it possible.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts by questioning, well, why not? And then all these things start coming up. You're going to come up with all the reasons, but then we can pull out all the reasons why you can still do it, right? So.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. When I was growing up, my parents used to do this thing called the Ben Franklin. Have you ever heard of the Ben Franklin decision-making process?
I know of a quote of him, but I never heard of this. So tell me.
Yeah. It's basically you take a piece of paper and you write down all the pros on one side and all the cons on the other side when you have to make a decision. It helps you see the problem or the solution more clearly. And I feel like with dreams, it's kind of the same way. Like you could write down on one side, what do you think is possible? And what do you think is not possible about it? And I bet the possible things would outweigh the things that are not possible or the things that have to change.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. So why did you said you started it because of your personal story, which we won't necessarily get into that because I know you're a speaker and you talk about that a lot. But what is the mission behind like what you do? Like, how did that turn into something that you were like, you know what? Other people need to know this. Other people can benefit from this. Where was that kind of switch that happened?
Honestly, I will say because I see a lot of people struggling. I see a lot of people who feel like, and I'm going to name it, we all show up like we have it all together. But a lot of the time we don't. And we're struggling inside. And I felt like, why does it have to be that way? Why do we have to pretend that it's all okay? Let's face the fact that we're people pleasing half the time. Let's face the fact that we're scared to death of doing something. And when we know it would move us forward. And I feel like a lot of the time we need more authenticity in the way especially let's talk as business owners, right? I feel like we need more authenticity, and that part of that authenticity is what allows you to truly grow. I think I battled a lot, even in my own business initially, with imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And just because when I started out, I mean, who am I to coach all these other business owners, right? And even today, sometimes, it crops up and it's like, okay, now I have to go bigger, because if I want to continue to grow, I have to step bigger. And yes, that imposter syndrome is like, it kicks in, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate this? Because I've seen how much it can impact what I will eventually do or not do. And I see it in my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I've honestly realized that the core of everything, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your career choices, it comes down to your identity, who you believe you are. But more importantly, one of the best things I've learned is it's not so much who you think you are, it's who you think you're not.
Mm-hmm.
That's what holds us back.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I'm like, I don't care what marketing strategy you want to do, because ultimately it will not work if you still believe that about you.
Yeah.
So that is where I want to put my focus. I'm in it, right? I have to work on myself too.
It's a never-ending cycle,
Yes,
Yeah.
especially the more you grow, because you've like, oh yeah, I mastered this, and then now you have to go to the next level. It's like, okay, I have more work to do.
Yeah, we had I did a weekend retreat, a women's weekend retreat that I hosted. It was called Taming the Business Beast. It was a friend of mine. Her name's Kim Wanowich, and I did that together. And the very first session that we did was on who are you becoming? Because we have to become, you say somebody different, but that's not a bad thing to say. It's not like you're doing a total 100% overhaul of who you are, but you do have to have that little bit of piece that you have to become the CEO of your own business, or you have to become a little bit different than what you are now to get that promotion, or whatever the case might be. And that's not a bad thing to always be in a state of becoming what you ultimately want to be.
Yes, your goals demand a new version of you. So
Yes.
whatever that is for you, it demands somebody bolder, somebody who makes stronger decisions or faster decisions. It's going to demand somebody that makes different choices in friends, for example, or in the circle, the people you surround yourself with. It's all those little things that add up.
Yes. Comfort destroys success.
Agreed.
You have to be a little bit uncomfortable. So speaking of uncomfortable, a lot of people find networking uncomfortable. How do you view networking, and how does it play a part in your business?
So fun fact, I used to dislike networking. You would have had to pay me to go network. I dreaded, I'm an introvert. I dreaded networking.
I would never guess that. You're so good at it.
I've worked on myself. So one of the biggest things I've done for myself, and also coach my clients on, is a lot of the time you're uncomfortable networking because you're so focused on yourself. Networking is not about you. And I try to take this approach. Just get curious about getting to know somebody. Just get curious about getting to know somebody. Not about how am I going to sound, are they going to like me, blah, blah, blah. Because when you're doing this, you're focused on you, and it will never go well. But if you let go of like, it's not about me, it's about them. Let me get to know them. And if I can focus on meeting, I'm not about numbers. If I can focus on meeting 2-3 people and getting to know them, I feel like this was a successful networking event.
Yeah, I think that's a really good gauge. And unfortunately, a lot of people, especially when they first start networking, it's a numbers game. And people have even said that to me, oh, networking is a numbers game. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's
a
not.
people. It's a people.
Relationship building.
Relationships.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a totally different way to take a look at it. And we are very fortunate at Network Build Grow to have, 90% of our people have that mindset. So it makes it a lot easier.
It does.
And the other thing is back to what you were just saying about how we have to be authentic, and you have to be okay not knowing all the things. I think when you network, you meet people that know things you don't know, which then can help you with your business, because you don't have to know all the things. But when you don't know all the things, then you feel like an imposter, like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? But if you surround yourself with good people, they can actually prop you up and help you with the pieces that are missing.
Let me introduce you to the Speaker League, where great leaders are made. It's a community built around world-class speakers, real training, and the kind of opportunities that put you in front of a room and dare you to own it. Everything you need to go from good to unforgettable. Train, speak, win. The stage is yours. Your voice, your moment, your stage. Join now at thespeakerleague.com.
I have gotten so many collaborations and learned so much from people I've networked with. And because when I go into networking, I don't look at, I'm going to get a client. This is not the approach I have. I look like I am generally looking to build relationships. And out of those relationships, usually collaborations, because they have a skill set that I don't. And this is where I've seen a lot of growth, and it has helped me a lot in my business.
Yeah, let's dive into collaborations a little bit. We have the strategic collaboratives inside Network Build Grow, but what does collaboration mean to you?
For me, when I meet people that have a genuine connection with, and that has a completely different skill set than I do, though sometimes I will part it because you have the strategic collaborative, and I'll talk about that too, which I absolutely enjoy, by the way. But outside of that, I will say I look for people who have a completely different skill set, and we can bring value to each other. And I personally host events, as you mentioned, right? And I just feel like this can bring such an experience, so much more value to people than just me alone.
Yeah.
And so I love to collaborate with people so that we grow our businesses together and bring 200% more value to the people who are attending. And I have found that it allows you to spread your network a lot faster. And on top of it, just really grow the business organically in a way that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
Absolutely.
And on the strategic collaboratives that you have, we all need to surround ourselves with people who are in the same field, in the same boat, struggling with the same things. Like, what's working for you? Because sometimes we're so much into our tunnel that we just need to bounce things off of someone who's like, oh yeah, I didn't think about this. Oh yeah, I need this.
Or I tried that and it didn't work.
Yes.
But but if I had done it this way, maybe try this. Like, just ideas.
It's important to get out of the competitive mindset. We're not here to compete. We're here to help each other, because we're all going to attract different people anyway. And if you're in here to serve and help, the universe will take care of it. It will
Absolutely.
So just help.
Yeah, because some other coach that does stuff the exact same thing you do might meet somebody and the personalities just aren't a good fit. So then they maybe refer them to you because they know that the personality might fit. Let's go back to the other type of collaboration, though, the type where you can maybe collaborate with somebody on an event or collaborate with somebody with a mutual client. One of the things that we talk about that I talk about with my clients is, who needs your services, or what other services do your clients need before and after you? Those are good collaboration partners. So you provide B. What has to happen? What's the A and what's the C and the D and the E and the F? Like, those are good collaborative partners for you.
I love that question. Yeah. And honestly, I think that's something I'm going to do some homework on. I took a note. I'm like, you know what? I love that concept of before me and after me. Yes.
Yeah. I work with a lot of speakers. And so, a lot of times before me, they need a brand person. And a lot of times after me, they need an agent, so those are some great collaborative partners for me. Or a copywriter or a book publisher, those kinds of things. So, all right, let's do some rapid fire networking questions. Just first thing that pops into your mind. What is one tool, app, or system that you use to manage all of your connections?
Right now, I will say that's work in progress, but I have a
Mhm,
CRM that I use
mhm.
to kind of really log all my contacts, and I put little notes, and I have
Good.
kind of a system where I try to go back based on priorities. I will say I kind of tag things to like how warm or of a relationship it is, whether as a prospect or whether as a collaboration, and how much I want to nurture those to kind of see, okay, I'm going to need to follow up with those a little bit more often versus the other ones, maybe just on my email list. And once in a while, I'll check in, right? So there's a different pace depending on that.
Great. Wonderful. Okay, another question for you. How do you follow up right after you meet somebody?
So I will say it depends on the contact.
Depends on the context. Yeah, absolutely.
So
But let's
if
say
I have
let's take two. Let's take two scenarios.
yes,
Let's take a possible client and let's take a, just more like a strategic alliance.
okay, perfect. A possible client, I will say I will follow up that same day and really try to obviously reach out with usually a text because I
Hmm.
like text messages. It's more personal, and invite, hey, we should follow, schedule a date to have coffee together and
Hmm.
really talk more about you. Again, it's about building the relationship first, but I will
Hmm.
reach out right away.
Okay.
Strategic collaboration, it will definitely be within the next few days. Within 3 days, I'll reach out and say, hey, I think we may be able to have potential to do something together. Let's set up some time to get together. It could be on Zoom, it could be in person, doesn't really matter. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Okay. All right. Last one that I'm going to ask you. What is your number one tip or saying or question for starting a conversation at a networking event other than, so what do you do?
Honestly, I love to get people to know people's stories. So for me, it's not so much what do you do as much as how did you get into this? Or tell me
Yeah.
one thing about you that I should know. And
Hmm.
it's because I want to get to know the person.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, if they tell me their story behind the business, I get to know the person. And that's why I prefer to ask, tell me about how you got into this. What led you to doing
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Why do you do what you do? Why is this important to you? Why is this work satisfying? Is it satisfying? There's another question for you.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. That's great. So now with Dream into Success, do you work one-on-one with clients? Do you do groups? Do you do cohorts? I know you do some different events.
Yes.
How do you actually work your business?
So I do one-on-one and I do small groups as well.
Okay.
So small groups are going to be no more than 8 because I am big into getting into people's weeds because I've gotten many coaches myself. And I
Mhm.
will have to say that one of the things I always felt I wanted more deeply is more personal feedback because that's where I can grow more because I don't hear myself. I don't see my own blind spots. And that's why I
Yeah,
choose to do a lot more one-on-one or very small groups. So that's
that's
the way
great.
I do my business. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and if anybody wants to get in touch with you, they can certainly just look at the show notes. But what is the best way to get in touch with you?
They can send me an email or reach out on my phone at 862-222-6392. And my email is lou@dreamintosuccessnow.com. So,
Dream into Success
hello now. Yes,
now.com.
make it happen
That's great.
now.
Make it happen now. All right. Well, it has been a pleasure talking to you, and I am looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you so much, Melissa.
You bet.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Network Build Grow podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur or professional. And of course, if you're not yet part of our community, visit networkbuildgrow.com to connect with us. Until next time, keep building and keep growing.